This is KGW News at noon.
My dad just woke me up this morning and told me that my mom said there was a shooter at the school, and then I texted her and I said just like what was going on. She said she was hiding in the closet and that there was shooting all over and that they had potentially tried to get into her room and just that she loved us.
That teen's mom is okay, but still so many families in Nashville in pain, in shock, trying to piece together what happened during a shooting at a private school that left at least 7 people dead, including 3 children, 3 staff, and an attacker. Investigators say police shot and killed the shooter, a 28-year-old woman. Hello, I'm Christine Pitawanich. Thank you for joining us here at noon. Here's what we know so far. It happened at the Covenant School, a private Christian institution with kids in preschool through 6th grade. We still don't know the names of any of the people killed or the shooter, but investigators say she had 2 assault-style rifles and a handgun. Calls first came in this morning just before 8:30 our time. A couple hours ago, Nashville police spoke publicly for the first time.
The police department response was swift. Officers entered the first story of the school, began clearing it. They heard shots coming from the 2nd level. They immediately went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the 2nd level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers.
Now, police say that 28-year-old woman shooter was also a former student. The 3 children who were shot were taken to a nearby hospital where they died. Of course, we're expecting more information in the coming hours and, of course, in the coming days. We'll have the latest, though, on air today at 4 o'clock and online at kgw.com.
This is our reality now. We have to live without them, which we never thought we'd have to do.
Hundreds of people came together over the weekend in Vancouver to remember Melendez and her little girl, Layla Stewart. Investigators found 2 bodies in Washougal last Wednesday that they believe belonged to the mother and daughter. Police have identified Kirkland Warren, Miché's ex-boyfriend, as a person of interest. He's accused of previously assaulting her and shooting up her apartment. Daisy Caballero was at the vigil yesterday morning.
People had nothing but loving things to say both about Miché and Layla. Some of them told me they didn't know them personally, but wanted to show their support in any way that they could after hearing the heartbreaking story of their disappearance and now death.
We're here to have a public vigil and a call to action that the senseless murder of Miché and Layla did not have to happen.
On Sunday morning, hundreds of people flooded Esther Short Park to remember 27-year-old Miché Melendez and her young daughter, Layla Stewart, after their bodies were found in Washougal last Wednesday. As of Sunday afternoon, no arrests have been made in the murders, but police have identified Kirkland Warren, Miché's boyfriend, as a person of interest in their disappearance. After court documents show he assaulted and shot at Miché's apartment and pressured her into dropping the charges.
Miché had a restraining order against him, and this is the outcome. That's not right.
Michelle Bart is the president of NW Cave, a Vancouver nonprofit that educates and prevents violence and exploitation against women and children. She says this case has been one of the hardest she's worked on, as it hit her on a personal level.
My friend, who I didn't even know was a school teacher, is Layla's PE teacher, so it took on personal meaning.
Close friends with Layla and Miché. Layla was pretty much my niece. So yeah, this has been very heartbreaking.
Randall shares her daughter and Layla were born just 2 weeks apart, so they had an incredibly close connection.
We hope something changes. We hope that if a victim comes out and they're scared, that the police do way more than what they did for her.
The Vancouver mayor and police chief spoke at the vigil and shared their condolences with the family. alongside Representative Sharon Wiley and Senator Linda Wilson, who sponsored the Tiffany Hill Act, a bill that orders domestic violence abusers to wear a GPS ankle monitor to notify the victim when their abuser is close by.
This can't keep happening, and I can't imagine the call or the knock at the door when you're told that your family is gone.
We really want to honor the family and make sure they get lots of support for that Layla and her mom is gone.
Layla's schoolmates also showed their support at the vigil, sharing she was a kind and friendly little girl who had many friends at school.
It's hard to imagine something like that happening, for sure, and I have a lot of empathy and compassion, and like I said, we just wanted to be really supportive and let them know that people care and care enough to come out and do this.
Bart tells KGW NW Cave will be looking for funeral homes that can bury both Mache and Layla together. They have also started a memorial fund for funeral costs. You can find that link on kgw.com. Daisy Caballero, KGW News.
In Portland, multiple shootings happened over the weekend, including the deadliest yet this year. That shooting happened Saturday afternoon in North Portland's Portsmouth neighborhood. Police say 3 people were killed in broad daylight. Their bodies were found inside a car. The Oregonian reports 3 people walked up to that car as it drove by and started shooting, then continued shooting as it drove past. When police arrived, all 3 inside the car were already dead. So far, Portland has had 17 homicides this year. And on Friday, also in North Portland, 1 person was hurt in a separate shooting outside the Alibi Tiki Lounge on North Interstate. That person's injuries are not life-threatening. Then yesterday in Northeast Portland near 86th and Hasselo, bullets hit several homes. In one case, people were inside, though they weren't hurt. At least 20 casings were found outside. Portland police say they have not made any arrests in any of those shootings. To Salem now, where today tenants from across the state are testifying in front of lawmakers. They're asking the Senate to consider Bill 611, which would make it more difficult for landlords to evict renters by increasing requirements. It would also cap annual rent increases to a maximum of 8% plus inflation. Each person got 2 minutes to speak, but testimony lasted hours. Tenants spoke about how much the bill means to them.
In the past year alone, I've got behind on my heat. I've had to forego medical treatment, less doctor's appointments, and my family doesn't eat anything we can't buy without food stamps. We don't take my kids out to the park because we can't afford the gas. We used to go camping every summer. We can't do that anymore. We have cut back on all recreational activities so that we can stay housed.
The bill still has a long way to go before becoming law. It'd need to pass in committee, the Senate, then the House before going to the governor's desk for her signature. Tonight, Vancouver's State of the City address is back in person for the first time since the pandemic started. Mayor Anne McInerney-Ogle will talk about the city's future and release an online report outlining the city's budget and accomplishments over the last year. The event is at the Furstenberg Community Center and begins at 6 p.m.